Right, hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Moaning Yorkshireman and a new feature. I said I was going to be doing some new features, and here's one of them. It's called the Cruel Wall, similar to the Top Gear Cool Wall, but it's the Cruel Wall. And I'm going to be judging the Formula 1 drivers of the 2017 season based on their race results and races, how they fared throughout the entire 20 season calendar. And all the way from Australia, all the way to Abu Dhabi, with a grand total at the end. And the winner is the one with the most points at the end. So it's probably going to be a regular feature. I hope it is. Let me know what you think. This is just a pilot episode. If you don't like it, tell me. I'll bin it off. Doesn't bother me. So I'm going to start from all the way from Lewis Hamilton down to Giovinazzi. And they're in the previous last year's constructors order of the drivers, but obviously I'll do the race results as they come. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, the winner of the race, Sebastian Vettel. Qualified P2, split the Mercedes on the grid, and won the race thanks to, well, him just Ferrari having a better strategy. Can't fault that. Can't fault Vettel for anything. So, that's going to be a 10. You can't argue with that at all. He didn't put a foot wrong, didn't put a wheel wrong, did nothing wrong at all. So, 10 points to Mr. Vettel. P2 was Lewis Hamilton. Now, Lewis Hamilton, if I have not heard a driver moan as much as he has, then I don't even know what to say, to be honest. Lewis Hamilton, they're saying that Mercedes cost him that with a bad strategy because he got held up behind Verstappen. But I'm sorry, but you just pull up behind Max Verstappen and then go, "Oh, guys, I can't overtake him. I can't do it, guys. It won't work. Why can't I overtake him?" And you've been immediately defeatist. I'm sorry, you're on £30 million a year, pal. I'd get your fucking ideas booked up and start overtaking some shit. You can't go blaming the fucking regulations. Other people were doing it, you prat. So, P2 for Lewis Hamilton, but because of his whinging, I'm going to give him minus 12. So there we go. Minus 12 points for Mr. Hamilton there. Not off to a good start, pal. If you win the race and you get a podium and you don't bitch and moan, then that's fine. But I think you're going to bitch and moan a shitload. So that is a warning to you, Hamilton. I'm going to keep minusing points off you if you keep whinging like a needy prick. So, P3, Valtteri Bottas, his first race for Mercedes. Qualified P3, finished P3. Fairly solid effort. Can't really... same again, didn't put a foot wrong. Was catching Hamilton, but then got stuck in his dirty air. Couldn't do much, blah, 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 blah. Finished P3. Excellent. So, Valtteri Bottas, an impressive-ish debut. I would have, Mercedes should have got a 1-2, really. They're still the dominant car. So, Valtteri Bottas, I'm going to give him 7 points. So, 7 points for Bottas. P4, Kimi Raikkonen. What can you say? He's doing like what he started off last year, really, isn't he? Starting how he left last year. He's there, but he's there or thereabouts, but he's not doing anything special, is he? I mean, Verstappen nearly had him in the end. So, not too bad. Kimi Raikkonen, you could have done better, pal. Book your ideas up. I think, he shouldn't have been there this year, but that's just my opinion, so I'm going to give him 6 points. Why not? 6 points for Kimi Raikkonen. 5th place was Max Verstappen. He did alright, didn't do too bad again. The Red Bull's not on pace with the Ferraris or the Mercedes, Ferrari or the Mercedes at the minute. But so to be on the back of the Ferrari was decent for him, and he didn't put a wheel wrong. Again, a quiet race for him, but he'll get lively in the season, so he can have a solid 7 points. And then Mr. Massa in P6, which was a good return for him to say he'd retired, so to speak. So yeah, P6 is solid again. I think the Williams is a quick car this year. Same again, Massa, quiet race, didn't put a wheel wrong. You can't fault him, so I'm going to give him a solid 8 points for that, because Massa, you did a good job there, pal. You did a good job, and you've certainly seemed to have booked your ideas up from last year. I know the car was crap at the end of last year, but to get 8 points on the board already, not just on my leaderboard, but in the actual championship, is a lot better than where they finished off. So, there we go. So, Felipe Massa, P6. P7, Sergio Perez, qualified 11th. Got moved up to 10th after Ricciardo's grid drop, but Ricciardo in the pits anyway. But started P10 on the race and finished P7. Did some 2 cracking overtakes on 2 Toro Rossos, proving that overtaking can be done. So, you know, fair play to Perez. That was a good effort in the new Pinkmobile. So I'm going to give him a solid 9 points. He can have 9 points, Mr. Perez. Good effort there. And then we come on to Mr. Carlos Sainz. And again, didn't put a wheel wrong. Did fairly decent. Not got any problems. Just, you know, a good race from Toro Rosso. The pair of them in the points. Toro Rosso did a decent job. Got no arguments with him. Sainz did a decent job. He can have 8 points. Daniel Kvyat had an unscheduled pit stop and still finished P9. That's what dropped him behind his teammate. That can't really be said. It wasn't his fault. You know, I'm not sure. I think they suspected a puncture as to why he pitted twice. So you can't argue with that. So again, he didn't put anything wrong. 8 points. And from last season, how he had, you know, he got binned off from Red Bull, which wasn't fair, and then really struggled in the Toro Rosso. I didn't personally think he deserved that seat this year. I thought he should have gone to Gasly, but he's proving me wrong. Scored 2 points on the board. Fair play. And then in P10 was Mr. Esteban Ocon, the man with his debut for Force India. Did half a season with Manor last year. So very good effort by him to score a point, and he qualified 14th. Again, really got moved up to 13th on the Ricciardo penalty. And again, he did some cracking overtakes. The one where he took Alonso and had Hulkenberg up the inside of him 3 wide and stuff. Again, proves that overtaking can be done in these cars. I know it was few and far between, but it can be done. So, Ocon, you did well. I'm going to give you 7 points, I think. You can improve. So, 7 points. It's an early season. That's his first point in his Formula 1 championship in his career. So, he can have 7. And then we come on to just outside the points in P11. And that was Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault. He could have potentially had a point, but missed out just, which was unlucky. The Renault, has it got the pace, has it not? It's difficult to see because there's only really Hulkenberg doing anything in that car. So, yeah, Hulkenberg, he did alright. I would like to see him score points next time. I think the car's got the capabilities of it. He was just a bit unfortunate this weekend. So, I'm going to give Hulkenberg 6 points in the hope that he can score points soon in China, all being well. So then, P12 was Antonio Giovinazzi, and for me, he was the star of the weekend. He was really good. Didn't put a foot wrong, didn't put a wheel wrong, got called up. He only did FP3 in qualifying and then the race because Verline couldn't do it, apparently. I don't know what his problem is. But anyway, so Antonio Giovinazzi, P12, he deserves a race seat in Formula 1. I've said this before, you know, he even became a reserve driver for Sauber. Before I even did this race, I've always said Antonio Giovinazzi is deserving of a seat in Formula 1. And I think that proved it. The first Italian since Brazil 2011 to take part in a Formula 1 Grand Prix, and he's certainly impressed. So, Mr. Giovinazzi, you can have 10 points, my friend. And I hope to see you more in the coming races. I really do hope that we can get him in a seat soon and get one of these half-wits that I'm about to talk about, get him binned off and get him in there. So next was Stoffel van Dorn. Now, what did he have? He didn't really have that great a race, did he? It was, I know the McLaren Honda's shit, but what can you do? You know, he was off the pace in comparison to Alonso. That could be down to problems with the car. I don't know. Obviously, he lost 19 seconds in the pit stop where he had to manually restart his car, etc., etc. But, you know, it only showed you replays of him falling off the track. And that was unfortunate for Van Dorn. So, again, unfortunate for Van Dorn, but I think he could have done better. I think he could have done better. So I'm going to give him 4 points. I hope you improve, Van Dorn, because I do like you. I do like you in very much indeed. Let me just scroll down and see who was after Van Dorn, because they were all DNFs from here on in. Van Dorn was the last finisher 2 laps down in 13th. So in 14th was his teammate Alonso, and he was unlucky. He was unlucky. He had a failure on the car 3 laps from the end, and he was running 10th. He had just been overtaken by Ocon and Hulkenberg, so he was running P12, and then he had his retirement. Unfortunate for Alonso, and I think he dragged that. He got the most out of that car, that McLaren Honda. I thought they were going to break down like 3 laps into the race or something. So, Mr. Alonso, you're solid, very solid indeed. You can have, definitely you can have 9 points, because I think you drove a good race. I think you did well. Unfortunate your car broke. You would have been P12. You know, maybe you would have missed out on points, but I think he did a good job. So he dragged that McLaren Honda to places it shouldn't have been. And then next, who was the next retirement? Oh, it was Kevin Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen fell out towards the end of the race. Now, Kevin Magnussen, what did he do? In comparison to his teammate Grosjean, which we'll come to in a minute, but in comparison to his teammate, he did absolutely shite. Did absolutely shite. I don't know why, but he struggled all weekend, and then he had a crash with Ericsson, bashed into him at the start, and just generally didn't impress me. And I really rated Magnussen, and I've actually defended him when people have been saying how shite he is. And, you know, I've said, no, he is a good driver, it's just the car, you know. But that is, you know, I hope he books his ideas up soon, because at the minute he's just been another Gutierrez, and I didn't expect that from him. So, Magnussen, book your ideas up, mate. You're having -1 point for that race. You need to think about your ideas seriously. Book your ideas up, son. Get some points on the board. You're -1 on my leaderboard now, so fucking hell, Magnussen, come on. Next, after Kevin Magnussen, the mighty, the audacious, the absolute bellend, it's Lance Stroll! Hooray! Woo! Lance Stroll, £75 million paying for a Formula 1 season. What a wanker. So, I'm not regarding testing in any way, but he shunted a shitload in testing. That's not this weekend. He was off the pace all weekend in comparison to Massa. Massa finished P6. Highest Stroll ever got was 13th before he retired with apparent brake issues, i.e. him not pressing the fucking brake pedal hard enough because he's a fucking bellend. But yeah, Lance Stroll doesn't deserve a Formula 1 seat, doesn't deserve to be there, performed shite all weekend. At least he didn't crash. That's one advantage for him. But genuinely, Lance Stroll doesn't deserve to be there at all, in any way, shape or form. You know, he's dangerous. He is dangerous. We're going to see that he's going to cause some nasty accidents. If you think Verstappen's bad, you wait till Lance Stroll starts getting involved. And it's going to be a shower of shite, I can guarantee you. So, Lance Stroll, you did nothing to impress me this weekend, mate. You overtook one car, which was Giovinazzi in a slower car, and you had DRS. It's the only thing he ever did all weekend that was any good. Crashed in FP3, had a 5-place gearbox penalty, did fuck all for me. Absolutely nothing. So you, my friend, get -53. Because I don't like you. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Next up, we have Daniel Ricciardo. Now, what can we say? Was he a master of his own demise? Shunting in qualifying was a big error for him. It's not often we see Daniel Ricciardo having accidents, or making mistakes even. So that was unfortunate. And could it have contributed to the problems in the race? It probably did. You know, the lads had to obviously rush to build the car and fix the car up again. Ready for the race. He had a problem where the sensor wasn't working correctly on the gearbox, so he was stuck in sixth gear. Dragged him back to the pit lane on the low loader. Got him fixed, but he was 2 laps down. He just went out to do some testing. And he broke down again. And it was such a shame because Ricciardo never seems to have the look at his own Grand Prix, and I really wanted him to do well this weekend. Personally, I think on his pace, it looked like he could have out-qualified Verstappen, but we'll never know. So I'm just going to give him a middle-of-the-road 5 because I can't really call it anything else. You know, I can't call it. You know, his pace was difficult to say in the race. He binned it in qualifying, so 5 points for Ricciardo, but I think he'll score more later on. So then, after Mr. Ricciardo, we have Marcus Ericsson. And Marcus Ericsson, he did a good job. I can't fault Ericsson. It was unfortunately retired, and it was retired due to accident damage caused by the collision with Magnussen, which was not Ericsson's fault at all. He got the car into Q2, which was a bloody good effort. So, Mr. Ericsson, you certainly impressed. You did impress me. I think you did well. And I'm going to score you 8 points. Unfortunately, you didn't make the whole distance, and that's the only reason why you didn't get the 10 points. I know that's harsh, but, you know, I've given 2 people 10 points now. So, you know, I can't be too keen. You know, Ericsson, you did a good job, mate. Giovinazzi was on your tail, though. So, watch your back, Ericsson, because I reckon Mr. Giovinazzi will come for that race seat soon. So, on to Mr. Jolyon Palmer, and by far the worst driver of the fucking weekend. Back at the grid all fucking day, every session, blah blah blah, absolutely shite, crashed in FP2. What the fuck's he doing there? What is it? What is he doing there? He isn't. I just can't. He's doing me head in. He annoys me, Palmer. And then to go blaming the team and oh, everything conspired against me in qualifying. You qualified last. You're even behind Stroll, for fuck's sake. Lance Stroll. Nightmare. So, Jolyon Palmer, you did nothing to impress me. Fair enough, the race retirement wasn't your fault, but you were shiting at the back of the grid before that even happened anyway. So, Mr. Palmer, you're going to get minus 83.2. There you go. You need to put your ideas up, Mr. Palmer, definitely, because that is not good at all, my friend. So, last but not least, Romain Grosjean, and what an unfortunate driver. Unfortunate, you know, P6, qualified P6, stunning performance. Didn't expect that from the Haas. I thought they'd be on the tail end of the top 10, but not qualifying P6. He got jumped by Massa off the line, but was a solid P7, and he would have stayed P7 had it not been for that engine problem. And he was gutted, and so was the team, and I can understand why. I really hope that they get, you know, the reliability back in China, because I think that car's a strong car, and it looks bloody nice as well. So Grosjean, for your efforts of the early part of the race, I can't judge you any later than that, but you did a solid job, mate. So you can have 7 points. And last but not least, Pascal Wehrlein. Did FP1, did FP2, and decided I'm not well enough. Now, Wehrlein had this tendency at Manor, didn't he? Moaning a lot and complaining. I know he never missed a race, but I think he needs to watch his back, because Giovinazzi's going to come for him otherwise. Because I think Mercedes will probably drop his drive if he carries on. I know people are saying, oh yeah, I respect his decision and stuff, but to me, I can't see why he did that. So, Mr. Wehrlein, I'm going to score you a very, very polite -5. I know you didn't race, and that's the only reason, but you didn't race, but I think you could have raced. So you're going to get -5 on that basis. So that is my results and scores of Australian Grand Prix. And yeah, if you liked this video, please let me know, because I will carry on. I will do it some more. I enjoyed doing it. So let me know in the comment section below, and I'll hopefully see you again for another episode of this. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and see you later. Much love.